Okay, and we are live. Woohoo! Okay, this is your girl TY Lisa, and welcome back to Outside the Box podcast. I thank you for tuning in. I ask that you share, subscribe, rate us a 5, not a 4, not a 3, not a 2, not a 1. Share, because sharing is caring. I am excited about today. We are live, officially live. Okay, not fake live, but real live. Okay, and I have two beautiful professionals. I have two experienced women that I had the pleasure to work with on helping me receive a blessing for me and mine. You hear me? So I'm not going to prolong the time with all my intros and all my, energy. I am going to introduce to some and to many. So for ones that may not know, for ones that may know, I have Janine, who was my mortgage lender when we were in the process of buying a home. Janine, everybody, Janine.
Hello, everyone.
Janine, so you can tell the people a little bit about you before we go to Sharina and where you work and what you do.
Sure. So I have been in the mortgage industry for 20 plus years. I've sort of served on all sides, so I know a little bit about, underwriting, processing, and now the actual origination side. I work for Cross Country Mortgage. Our base location in Connecticut is in Fairfield, but we are a national lender and actually number 7 of the correspondent lenders. So our company's pretty great. What else?
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. And next we have Sharina, who was my realtor in the process of us buying a home. Sharina, everybody. Hey.
Hi, everybody. Sharina Baker. I am a real estate broker. I have 15 plus years in. My company is SB Realty Group out of Connecticut, licensed in Connecticut and New York. And I have property management, first-time home buyer, and investor agent background. And we aim to please. He's a D.
Okay. I want to thank you again. I know I thank you guys off air, but I want to thank you again for helping me with this. I think that this is very important for everyone that is looking to purchase a home, that is looking to have some type of experience in real estate, whether or not you're purchasing a home, whether or not you're interested in getting rental property, to get that bag, because I know we all need that money. You know what I mean? So I thought that, we should have experienced people that I personally know, that I personally worked with, to come on and to share not only just my experience, but also if others have questions. So what we're going to do is we are going to open the floor for questions a little later. For my podcast members, I always start off with an icebreaker to get the nerves off, and to have something fun and exciting to talk about before we go into, house talk. So my icebreaker for today is, if you could be on a reality TV show, which one would you choose and why?
All right.
Cool.
I got you.
Jenny, you go first.
All right, so totally the Kardashians. If you meet my family, you will understand it's drama all day, group texts all day, hair, nails, shop. It's bad. So, that's definitely us.
Keeping up with the Kardashians is for you?
Yes.
Okay, I respect it. Jenny, Sharina?
I'd have to say I'd have to create my own, because some of the things you just that I go through, you can't make this stuff up. Yeah, I'm a little unique. We would be a combination of love and hip hop, married to medicine, Atlanta housewives.
Man,
Road rules. It's a lot going on. It's a lot. You know? Yeah, it's a lot. MTV raps. It's a lot.
Going back.
It's a lot. General Hospital. It's a lot. Yeah. We would have to make, yeah. Because some of the things that, you know, we hear and see on day-to-day basis, I say this all the time, like a camera crew needs to follow us around because some of the questions that people ask us today, and I ask myself, am I getting pumped?
Great.
And, you know, we say no question, you know, no question is a dumb question, but some questions you wonder, like, are you serious? You know, not to take any credit away from anyone, but my family, they're very unique. But I love them all the same. Yeah. Even myself, I have my moments. I have my moments. Yeah. But I wouldn't change it. Yeah, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah. So you actually have a reality show of a plethora of.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Reese, do you have a?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
whew, I don't
We
know.
can think of one for you if you need to.
I think you know, you guys got it handled. A reality show. I don't know.
No?
I think I have to be. I might have to steal, you know, Sharina's joint. I have to pick a couple.
No, I thought you would say like.
I was gonna say chop and then something with biking. You know, I love my bikes.
Oh yeah, that's
So,
true. That's
but
true.
I'll keep it simple. Chop.
Chop.
Oh
didn't-
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Good
So
stuff.
I was say Flavor Flav.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
yeah.
No.
We're
But
gonna
seriously,
recreate them. Definitely recreate. Yeah.
Eat into that. Don't you do it.
Definitely
it
recreate.
can be. But when you think about it, Flavor Flav actually started the reality business, right?
Well, actually, MTV,
Yeah.
Road Rules.
Oh
I think
yeah,
it was Road Rules. Yeah.
yeah.
You brought it back.
I would honestly, if I seriously one, it will be the college show. Was that
Yeah.
on B-
Yeah.
The Hill.
Which
College
MTV.
Park?
Oh, college. Yeah, it was called
College
college.
Park.
As
Yeah.
long as you don't say Jersey Shore, we're good.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A little bit of that too.
Yeah, I think it's called College Park, but I think they had a lot of fun. I mean, I didn't see that type of work, but they had a lot of fun. And I'm here. You hear me?
I think it was real reality back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It changed. Now it's a little scripted, but yeah.
Yeah.
So would you do like a reality show pertaining to like your business, like with you being a mortgage lender, Janine, and a realtor? Would you do, because you know we see a lot of that now.
Real Estate Chronicles. I mean, we could just go on and on. That would be more interesting than
Yeah.
an actual mortgage.
Definitely.
But the questions that you say, Sharina, that you get, you like, I can't make these questions up. And I have a question. You guys are going to laugh because I laughed when I got it. So, how did we meet? So you want to start off with the story, or should I take the lead in this?
It's up to you. I mean, I'm ready, but it's up to you. It's your world.
Okay. So, of course, we were looking to buy a home, and a lot of it was, we didn't know how we wanted to go with the process. We didn't know if we wanted to go with like, getting that free money, because that's what I was about, or if we wanted to go with an actual mortgage lender, well, mortgage company. And we started to talk around, well, ask people about their experience and to see what they did or what they recommended. And we started out with the Sherman House on Sherman.
And
Yeah, New Haven House, and it was a program, did all of that, and it wasn't working for us, honestly. Like financially, it wasn't working for us. One thing that we did want to do going into buying a home, we wanted both of our names on the deed. That was very important to us. And with that, it seemed like it wasn't working. And I feel like, and maybe it's just me, but any type of assistance you need from the government or the state, I want family to.
No, it's not for you.
Right. And
They
I
don't
thought that,
promote husband, wife, family sticking together.
so that was very challenging for us, to the point where we was like, you know what, we quit. Well, I know I was about to quit. From the beginning, Maurice here has been looking for houses on realtor.com. Sharina, you know, he was over.
yeah, don't do me like that.
He was all over the place.
All over. Even in contract.
He knew what he wanted. He knew how many houses. He knew the backyard. He knew where.
Oh,
Somebody had to do the homework.
yes.
He definitely did. So we speeding up the process. Someone recommended us to Janine. Who recommended us to Janine?
Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl
Hardy.
Hardy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to Daryl Hardy if you're watching. Thank you for the plug. We reached out to Janine, and we wasn't ready at that time. We actually reached out to another.
Right, you were with someone else first. I think you were discouraged, or they weren't responsive. I forget. And we had you pre-approved in 24 hours. You were done.
Right.
Yeah, we
Here's your letter. You get out there.
yeah, our whip was short. It was we was ready. Yeah, so we did reach out to someone else, and we wasn't satisfied or wasn't feeling good vibes. We go off for good vibes. We wasn't feeling good vibes, and so I told her, I said, well, let's hit Janine up. So we hit her up. She helped, gave us some some stuff, whatever. And even at the time, we wasn't even ready yet, but she looked out for us.
You guys were like, really? I was like, yes, really. I'm like, not kidding at all.
Amazing.
It was. I think when we was working with the program too, the banks, and that's actually one of the questions, the banks was discouraging us even more, because they're saying, you don't have this, you don't have that. And I'm like, I had the credit score, he had the money, he had the income. So I'm like, why can't we come together?
Big question, right? Right.
So Janine was ready, and I think maybe a few months after that, we were I just was getting fed up with the program, and I said, you know what? Reese was like, let's just reach out to Janine again. And I'm like, no, I want the free money. She don't have no money for us. Like, I want the free money. I was so fixated on the free money.
If anybody knows my wife, tight boy.
Yeah.
It's a tease. It's a tease, that, every call I get from a first-time buyer is, but what about the first-time buyer incentive? And I'm like, well, the incentive is low money down. Because essentially these programs that are offered never come together. I've never seen, maybe one in my 20 years seen come together.
In the traditional bank stuff. Oh my, on the real. Oh my God, they're the worst experience ever. The filter side of it, watching clients deal with traditional things, it's hard. It's really hard, and I tell because traditional banks lure them in from telling them that there's low interest rate, or something that closing, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But I think the loan officers that traditional banks are readers, because by the time you get with the processor, and the processor is the difference, They don't communicate with the person who's doing. And, that process can take months. I'm in a deal now that's supposed to close March 17th. And and they take from a lender, private lender, because they take holidays and they take work 9 to 5, 8 to 4, and you can't reach them at a certain time. And they don't care. They're getting paid hourly salary, so you're in a queue. That's it, and they don't work weekends. But yeah. All right.
Oh, you're muted.
Did I mute again?
No, Telly.
Oh, sorry. I understand it because I was there.
Am I hearing an echo? Can you hear echo?
You was kind of going in and out.
In and out.
Yeah.
Move your phone maybe further from your computer.
Is it better?
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bueno.
Yeah, so no bank. So you're lucky that you went with Janine instead of a traditional bank.
Ben. Once we was ready to go, we reached out to Janine. We gave her our numbers or our information and we was approved. And it was just that simple. And I'm just like, how, Sway? Like, how is this so easy when I was freaking out the whole time? And this one right here is like,
yo, let's just call Janine.
Call Janine. Call Janine.
This is going to be on my card. Call Janine.
Yes, that's a good story.
But it was just, but I was really, like she said, going with the banks, she had the credit and I had the income, but it wasn't going to work because she wanted the money, the free money. And they said, well, your husband makes too much, so that's going to put you over. And then if you don't use your husband, we only want to approve you for this amount, which felt like close to nothing. So I already was feeling positive because when we first talked to Janine, when we wasn't ready, she was like, listen, Maurice, we can get you approved with whatever you got going on, or you need to do this, and that. And I was on it within the first couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
We got it going, but then we did hit her up. She was like, I told you I got you. And I tell you,
let's go.
Hey, we was approved, and the number that you gave us, I said, we don't need that much, but thank you.
Yeah, you're quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's quick.
Yep.
And then you guys were on the road shopping right after that.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Hey, he was already looking, so we already knew exactly. Not exactly. Yeah, I guess we knew exactly what we wanted.
But I already had my eyes on that one right there. That's
yes.
Sharina.
So Sharina reached out to. Maurice reached out to Sharina like maybe the day after.
The day after on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And she called me like, what's up?
Wow.
Yeah, we was out. We were out. We found that house. What, a day or two? We were in contract. Yeah.
Yep.
That wasn't the first house though, right?
No.
It wasn't the first house. No.
We worked out like 3 houses.
Oh, okay.
I tried
that day. We got a total of maybe 8 or 9. But that day we looked at 4 houses. Because we looked at this one first and we walked in. My wife was like, oh yeah, this one. I'm like, whoa, slow your roll. Yeah. And then there was a couple other houses that, basically we just looked at. We already kind of knew, but I said, listen, let's just look. So we went and looked, and I remember vividly, it was 7:58. We was at the last house. Sharina said, so what you want to do? My wife, I already told you when we was at the house. I said, so give me a couple of minutes. She thought about it, and Ada told her. She made the call. About 20, 30 minutes, they was like, we're set.
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that quick, that simple, where we thought we was going to be looking for houses for a year. Like, you hear all these horror stories.
Yeah.
And everybody's story, especially everybody that's actually listening and tuning in, everybody's house story is different. Yeah. Like your house story is not going to be my house story. Yeah. And because we're so lucky and so blessed. And because we were just talking about this, Janine, because the market was like perfect at that time. But then but you also have people coming from Jersey and New York just buying up stuff because
Yeah.
My
But
job.
you were really blessed to get what you got for the price you got it, with the rate you got it at the time you.
I mean,
Because it's
all the pieces.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who, and you took heed to that. A lot of people are like, oh no, I should, we started and I should continue, and they miss their opportunity. And now this market now is completely different. It's hard. If you got your house appraised now, it's got to be so much higher now. There's equity in it. Look at this. That's the free money.
Now let's talk free money. Did you guys negotiate a seller credit? I can't remember.
Oh,
We
yes.
did.
There's your free money essentially.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they won. You won big on that one.
Right. Because then you got the credit for the home inspection issues. Then we're able to buy your rate down further. So your payment's like $20.
Oh.
I mean, it was $20. It's new though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like somewhere around like 15K.
It was
right?
12 or 15, yeah.
Yeah. It was it was a blessing, and I guess I would say Sharina and Janine, they can both speak. I was nervous and questioning stuff. It's too good to be true. I'm texting Sharina, new houses. We already looked at this house. I'm texting Janine questions, driving them both crazy.
But that's how a lot of people do that, and they don't. It's like especially people of faith. Like, you deserve this win. God blessed you. But sometimes people still check around and let me see, instead of receiving that blessing. It's like, no, you won. And it really wasn't enough. You did this. Like, this was your blessing. It just used us to help you get there. But this was about you, So, you see if something better comes along. But this blessing was for you. You wanted, you guys prayed. I mean, I remember the first house we walked in, and I heard Teresa say, okay, we need to have the prayer room here where we hold Bible study. I said, okay, guys, all right. You want to hold Bible study? Oh, no, this ain't going to be it. We had walked up somewhere. I said, oh, no, that's what you want? I'm don't even worry. And then you wanted a 1-car garage. You got a 3. You wanted a basement. You said, okay, there's no basement, but you have 2 sections to your garage. Mm-hmm. You have like a massive place. There's no comparing your house to your house was specially created. So it's unique, and it's unique for you. Mm-hmm. It's not like and that's what I tell people. Like, your house when you walk through the door, because it's for you. There's no need to go out and look at a million houses because your house, it connects with you. Mm-hmm. I would take your bathroom, your private master bath. I would take that. Give me that bath. What? Give me that.
We gonna keep that
kitchen with that island. Oh my gosh, you guys got so blessed. Those floors. And you're a chef. That kitchen is perfect for someone that cooks.
Yes, it is. I love it.
But he had us on the road in Wallingford after we got locked in. Thought I was going to say that, huh?
I'm going to say it, but I'm going to take that one. But in my defense, it wasn't just that I was nervous. It also had a wraparound porch that I know my wife she really wanted for a rocking chair and everything else. It had a lot of yard. So did the dog's
butt. The dog's butt smell wrapped around that whole house.
It was disgusting.
Awful.
Yeah. So we had an experience, and it was a really great experience. And I know, like you said, Sharina, of course, like it was nothing but God sent both do in our way, like in our path.
How crazy is that? Like, it was ordained. I didn't know you were believers. And then I meet Sharina, and and it was like, it was awesome. The whole thing was just great.
Right? But that
The
is, we divinely, and that's how it was. That's how it happens. That's how it's supposed to. But that's how God orchestrated it. So He had to put the right hand on it. And you brought Janine into my life, and right at the perfect time, because a shift happened in my business. It was right on time. Right on time.
That's amazing. Like he just puts people in your path, you know, right when you need them, like you said, like right on time. Because honestly, y'all not going nowhere. Like y'all a part of our family for life now. Janine, you definitely write it into all the cookouts. I hope you know how to play spades.
That's all I want. Right.
In those egg rolls, I'm coming from egg rolls.
Man.
Yes, so it was a very interesting experience. Even after everything, the closing, you guys know, with the holdups and stuff, how we were growing impatient. And even with that, you know, I would definitely say, you guys out there, if there's a glitch, or if there's a holdup, you know, don't give up. You know, just continue to trust the process, because that's what it is. It's a process. We don't know why we got held up, but we moved in right when we needed to move in. We were able to save, you know, some type of money, and also start our mortgage payments the first of the year. So it just worked out. We didn't know, because we wanted our house so bad. But, you know, like you said, like with the money that we got back, the fees that were paid, how our rate went down because of Janine. Like it was a blessing. Because the time had to, you know, expand. I think that's what was the setup. We were setting up, you know, and even now we have equity in our home, you know, like, so that's nothing but a blessing. So,
yes. Good team.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I
see a lot of want.
Yes,
a lot of expensive. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What you say? What you say?
I was saying a lot of people want these expensive homes that once the market turns, you know, you'll be underwater in the home. Buy it. But if you buy, you know, you can buy the nice home, they not your first choice. But it's a home that when the market changes, there will be equity in it. Buy that home. That way, there's going to be equity. You cash out, pull out, do something, or you have to worry about the water in it.
Yeah, you're right. So I don't know why, but some, like, your phone, it goes in and out a little bit when you speak.
What? Maybe because I'm not on Wi-Fi. Let me put my Wi-Fi.
Oh, there you go. That might help.
So yeah, so the process was great.
Is it better? Better? Is it better?
So I just want to thank you again for helping us and being a part of our family now. That's not going anywhere. I have a few questions before we open up to the floor, because I know everybody's dying to know. And also, of course, these two ladies are on my podcast, so I highly recommend them. So if you're looking to buy a home, if you're looking, you know, for a realtor, mortgage company, mortgage lender, these are the two. Okay, I highly recommend them. Okay, and I'm not just saying that because they're here. I'm saying that because I know it personally. They were there for me and Reese for every question. No question was dumb. They were there. I remember us calling Janine, and she was out to dinner on her anniversary with her husband.
I'm like, I'm fine. You're good. Just go.
Well, she wasn't out to dinner. she was trying to rush and get to him, or I think he was getting some flowers or a gift or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I was not getting a gift.
He might be listening. I'm sorry, Mr. Jan-
No, he's Team Janine, whatever.
See, look at that.
Anytime they were there picking, we would hear Sharina like in the car because she basically lived in the car. She was on the road all the time.
Yeah.
Anyhow, she made it her business. I mean, for the
ASAP.
same day. Yeah,
ASAP.
same day. We send her a house and she's like, all right, I got it. We're gonna look at it at 5 o'clock.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
And
I don't know how she does it, to be honest. She's balancing so many buyers, and like just about all of her offers get accepted based,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like I don't even know how you do it. You must be a master.
God, I tell you.
whack off.
But it just also shows you guys hunger for, you know, what you do. And you could tell that there's a love there. You know, you could tell that something that you just don't wake up and be like, oh, I gotta go. You know, this is something that you genuinely love. And I think we definitely sing that. And I think that's what drew us even closer to you guys. And, you know, I can't thank you enough. I thank you for all your help, support, prayers, because we are the Saved Sisters now. Like we are
Right?
Saved Sisters.
Yeah.
Not you.
I ain't a sister.
Oh,
I'm a man. Oh, you kicked me out, Janine? Wow.
you're out.
Yes. So God already stamped us to be together. So so I'm a firm believer of really, to know a person or to know a thing, you have to go back to their genesis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you all, these are just my personal questions. What made you get into real estate? Like, what was the reason that you said, you know what, I'm going to sign up for that? And I will start with you first, Sharina.
Good question. So actually, it's funny. So I'll tell you what made me get into real estate. I used to love Girlfriend's Tony Childs, right? Used to love Tony Childs, but Tony Childs was on TV. And a friend of mine had her real estate license, but she never sold a home. So when she told me she did, she was someone I could actually touch. So when she told me that she had a real estate license and I could actually touch her, it became something real. So since she had it, I was like, oh, I can do it. So I don't even think we had Google then. So I looked in the yellow pages of how to, you know, get a real estate license or real estate school, and I found it. But God actually brought me back to when I was like a teenager in Stanford. And I remember walking down the street in Stanford, and I had to be like 13. And I met this guy, and he had this house, and he gave me the opportunity to kind of renovate the house. Believe it or not, I was like 13. He gave me the opportunity. So I went back to my project, and I came back, got my friends, my cousins, and the girls did the inside, and the guys did the outside. So that was my first experience. And one of my best friends, taking it back earlier, when we were about 8, 9 years old, we would walk through this cut and put this little clubhouse together, take berries and paint it the outside. So I think God kind of put it in my path early on. So that's how I started. Yeah. And then, so got licensed back 2005, 2006, but I started working for a broker, doing the bookkeeping and doing for a property management firm, a broker, and loved it and started taking care of her whole company. So I said, let me just do it. And I did it and loved it and built my own from it. Mm-hmm.
And you are dope too.
You know, it was purpose. It was purpose. I found my purpose in it. And the purpose really was just like freeing my people through it. Yeah, so that's It's pretty much purpose.
Jenny.
Mine's not quite as colorful, but and exciting, but I come from a family of realtors. My stepfather and mother, and then my stepfather's father, my aunt, my sister did real estate for a bit. But I always said I was not getting into that industry, you know. It has too many highs and lows. And I ended up in the medical field. And as I like to say, I was punching a clock, you know, punch a clock, hourly rate, punch out, nothing exciting. And I always had an entrepreneurial spirit where I knew that I was made for more. I knew that I could, if I could put effort into something and produce an outcome, you know, I'm a hustler, I'm a worker. So I wanted that opportunity. I didn't just want to make my hourly rate. I wanted the ability to grow my business, my future. And so I got introduced to a mortgage person back in '99. And he took me under his wing. And it was great. A broker shop at the time, but way before mortgages. This was 8.5% was the 30-year fixed rate. So stop crying about 3.5% too high, you know. And they love the eights. So yeah, so I started there, and yeah, I fell in love with it.
Great.
Wow.
It's my story.
You wanted to be a boss. That's what I heard.
That's right. I did.
So I guess you guys already answered it. Did you ever know that this will be your career of choice? I guess you both answered that. Because you said, Janine, you were actually in medical field.
I love. I wish, you know, I wish I could do both. I love the medical field, but
yeah,
you know, it's not something that's creative.
Yeah.
And I'm able to be creative and do these podcasts.
I really didn't see today.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. This was something I wanted to do. Looking back, I see that this was the process, and this was the you know. But I didn't know. I didn't see today. No, back then I didn't. I knew that I was going to own my own company, but you know, I wanted to be an attorney. I wanted to open my own healthcare business. There's a few things I wanted, but and I hear like a lot of my friends, they say, you know what, you always said you was going to own your own company and you were going to do this and you're going to do that, but I didn't see it this far way back then. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I have two more questions. How do you create time for yourself with this career? I mean, it seems like it's really demanding for just, you know, how the market is and nonstop. Even if you're not with a client, you're doing something for a client behind closed doors. So how do you manage like your personal time, your family time? Do you say, hey, do you get a day off? Do you cut off your phone? Like, how do you do that?
That's my biggest challenge. And when you're trying to take time, the brain is still going and thinking of the other things that you need to do and get to. And then in that time, 3 more people have called and 4 more applications or requests have come in. And so I find myself sort of a slave to being at my computer and getting stuff done, making sure I'm answering calls, texting people back. The only thing I can say is thank God for my 4-year-old, because he's my little guy. I like to, you know, try to put a little time aside to spend with him, and my quiet time in the morning, which I love. But other than that, yeah, not a whole lot of balance there.
So how do you make it to church?
Well, the pandemic put a wrench in that, but Sunday mornings were, you know, that's it. We're there.
Okay.
I'm out of New Haven every Sunday. And that was wonderful. A little breakfast after, and then back to the computer for pre-approvals.
Yeah. Wow.
Very demanding.
Yeah.
Sharina?
It's hard. It really is hard. Like, so now I find the older I get, the more my body just shuts down. So it has a mind of its own. So, you know, I shut down on my own, and I can't. So during that time, I just have to put people, you know, on hold, because if I'm not recharged, I'm no good for you. And you want me at my best,
Mhm.
because me at my best, I'll show up and show out for you. You know, you want to recharge. So, you know, and I'm up at 5. You know, I'm at 5, and that's my quiet time. But you know, and sometimes my phone starts ringing at like 7:30, and I just try not to answer till like 9, because you don't want to talk to me before 9. You just don't. You know, and because we're human. You know, we're human, not perfect people, and no, you're not going to get the response. You know, I'm sharper after 9, and before 6. That's my truth. So yeah, but and I find that Mondays and Tuesdays I don't necessarily have to be out in the road, and now I retreat home more. You know, I've even found peace in trying to, you know, garden now. Like I do little things to try to, you know, find my peace and quiet time. I can't turn my phone off, because I think the world is going to end, and you know, someone's going to need me to save them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
You know,
It got hard still away
it
with
is.
the job that you do.
It
It
is, and
doesn't
you
turn
feel
off. I mean, people don't stop searching for houses and putting in offers. People are like, this in this market, 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday, and this has been a common occurrence. I need a letter and I need it now. And I'm like, well, you can wait till the morning, because I promise you they're not going to be looking at this letter until the morning. And they're like, absolutely not. This offer's going in with a letter, because we'll be out. They won't even look at our offer. So we do it, you know?
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that, because I just had to make peace with those people that decide to leave, because I can be there for you 98 or 99.8 or 99.9% of the time. And that one moment that I'm not there for you, and you go somewhere else, you know what? I just got to the point where I had to accept you leaving, because I'm not a robot. I'm not a machine. I'm human. You know, I am human. All about you, all the time. But you have to be okay with it, because people, this business is very demanding, and people want what they want when they want it. But I also, you know, and it used to hurt, because it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this person would just leave after I've been there working with them, putting my time in for months. So, and they just don't care about you. You know, you bent over backwards for them, and was at their beck and call, and that one moment that you couldn't answer, and I'm very reliable. I always answer my phone, but that one moment.
Right.
But I've accepted it, and I'm okay with it, because guess what? That person probably was a little too demanding for me anyway.
Right.
And that every personality is not meant to mesh well together, and that's what I'm okay.
Amen.
I am the boss of it.
That's true. So with the market being so competitive and aggressive, how do you keep your faith and your belief to stay in it? Like, doesn't it like dry up? Doesn't it? Well, I don't know. Do it dry up, or is it consistently busy?
I've been through some highs and lows. I went through, you know, the 2008 meltdown, crisis. My company went out of business. Then the next company I went to went out of business. And, you know, it's all I know. So the desire's there. You know, is it always busy? No. Is it sometimes a little scary? Sure. But you start to accept the highs and the lows. And you get grounded in a routine, and you hang out until the phone picks up again. You know, there's always, when it's slow, you figure out ways to set yourself apart and get busy. And it's worked, you know. It's just part of it. It's, I think anyone that's self-employed goes through this, you know.
Yeah. So I started in that 2008 recession. I built in that recession. So I think the key is to learn how to shift. When you can shift and navigate, when you learn how to shift, you can navigate through any recession. And you just got to learn how to pivot. That's just, you're a hustler, you can hustle in and out of the storm and keep your faith, definitely. So, and you definitely have to learn a few different tricks, especially for realtors. Like, so I built a property management company in that storm. You know, there's always going to be someone that needs a roof over their head. So whether you're, you know, and in that storm, I learned how to do short sales. I learned short sales. I learned, you know, foreclosure prevention. I learned there's always going to be a tenant that needs, you know, some people can't buy. Some people know how, you know, some people need to rent. I know how to clear credit. You know, there's a lot of things I know how to do to get you in somewhere, to make sure there's income coming in. So, and I you know, I even, through the years, you know, I was a contractor. So there's a lot of things that I know how to do to make sure that bag is coming.
You wear
Oh,
many,
yeah.
you
We
wear,
ain't worried about that. God make sure these ends meet. Yeah.
so my last question, and then I'll open the floor to you guys and to the public. Sharina, you touched on this earlier, but you also said it to me personally. You told me that looking at houses and being a realtor is your calling. Today, you called it purpose. Like, what did you mean by that? And Janine, like, do you feel the same way?
So what I mean by that is, this is my part in my ministry. So it's freedom. You know, it's 90% of my work is, you know, helping our people become free through mindset, changing the mindset. We will pay rent forever, you know, and we will spend foolishly. I was once doing the same thing, right? But we will tell ourselves we cannot afford. Like, even the want and need for the free money. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I will watch someone spend all this money on things that we don't need, but we won't stash our own money to pay for the things that we should be paying for, right? And my saying is, we're going to go through the front door. We're going to go through the front door. We always try and go through the window, the side, the back door. We're going to go under, but we're going to walk through the front door. We're going to stash our money, save our money. We don't need all this, because, you know, I remember there was a time that I could look in my closet and I had all this stuff in there. I could, you know, had not taken not one trip, didn't own nothing, but I had all this designer, everything, probably thousands of trips or, you know, down payments or whatever in there. But it was all attached to an emotional problem. It was all traumatic, emotional spending, right? So I see a lot of people do that. You know, I take people out and they always tell me, you know, I'm a realtor. And before this, I was in banking. So a lot of people will say, you know what, my car is brand new, or this and that and the other. And I look and I'm like, when they tell me, I'm like, because that makes me think, well, you know, how are you qualifying if you got a brand new car? And I pick nothing, but I know there's going to be a problem, you know, so because we've been doing this for so long, so we know about debt to income ratios. And we know that you did that sometimes to overcompensate for something else sometimes, you know? So And if we can get if we can get that under control, you know, we can heal the issue. You know, a lot of our people don't do counseling. You know, we don't do therapy to heal the real true issues. You know, if we can deal with the counseling and deal with the hurt and the past traumas, then we can heal our curse, and we won't be doing this emotional spending. And then we can really own something and have something.
Mm-hmm.
That's my, so it's perfect for me. So a lot of it, you know, I'm more than just a realtor. You know, I'm your sister. I'm your, you know, we get through these traumas together, you know, while I'm in life. You know, I can't say I'm your counselor, but I'm there with you going through some of the things. A lot of people share some things with me that, you know, they've experienced in their life. A lot of things that I've experienced too. I don't think, you know, a lot of the conversations happen just because, you know, God aligns you with some of the people who have experienced some of the same things that you've experienced in life. So I can actually comment on some of those things because I've experienced them and have gotten through. So I can show you how I've gotten through and maybe to help comfort you. So yeah, it's ministry for me. It's purpose. Yeah. Through home ownership. Yeah.
What about you, Janine?
So interestingly enough, for me, I suffered with extreme anxiety and low self-esteem from a young age. And so for me to get into this business, was 5 times harder for me than another person. Fear of the phone, fear of being in front of people. And it took years of practice and just relying on God each step of the way to bring me to a place of, you can do this, you have confidence, have faith. And he would show me, and then began a number of prophecies over my life that he showed me and told me through strangers that this was, you know, where I was going, contracts and, you know, just so many things. I have a great story, you know. And then suddenly I break through to the other side where I can do this. Probably 3 years ago, I would not have been able to, you know. But what I love about it is he pulled me out so that I can now help first-time home buyers, right? I work with so many people who have no idea where to start, no idea what they're doing. And I have the patience and the compassion to talk through everything with them. And it's amazing that the Lord sort of drawn people to me and grown my business, because I don't take any credit for it. Because I didn't step out and like, you know, hey, everybody call me, you know, I'm the best. You know, it didn't happen that way. The Lord showed me how he was going to work through me to grow my business. And so all the glory there. And that's how I know, you know, that this is my business, my calling. So.
Yes, I love it. I just love God, and I love his people, and I love that we are able to do this. We can come together as women and not tear each other down, but to build each other up. Because I honestly feel like we're all helping one another. You know, even, you know, I don't have an interest of real estate, but I may want a rental property. I may want to be a landlord. You know, even with God, if I have a question pertaining to anything, I can come to you guys. You know, Janine, you said that your church, I was interested in going to the church, but it's not even open. So
half open now
to visit. So I believe that, like you said, like God ordains us from the beginning of time to do what we are called to do, and to have the people in our path for whatever reason, for a reason or a lifetime. And I just thank you guys for coming on. And that was the questions that I had for you. And I wanted to ask those questions because I know there's people on here that may be, you know, they're trying to buy a home and they have questions, but there's also people out there that may actually want to do what you do. They may actually want a realtor or a mortgage lender, or even have their own business in this. And, you know, I just wanted to share shed some light on that as well. So I have questions. We're going to come. No. Okay. So we don't have questions yet, but I have some that people actually inbox me. So we're going to just get this first one out the way. And it says, do you get this question basically? Has anyone been murdered in the house? Sharina, I guess.
Oh, I have that. I think that out there. I haven't experienced that in Connecticut. A lot of things that they put out, I somewhere national news. I haven't experienced that in Connecticut. I haven't.
Okay, so no, you haven't. That question never came. I don't know why this person asked this. Janine, have you ever heard of this?
Well, I've heard stories, right, of like, and so people wonder, and the question is isn't it supposed to be disclosed?
It is disclosed. But who asked? Like if we're going on an appointment, you know, the first question is not has, you know, did someone, like I would never ask that question. And on the property condition disclosure, it's not a question. They're asking about the boiler, the roof.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Has any traumatic event happened here?
Yes. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. Back some years ago when I used to rent apartments, there was an apartment in New Haven that I rented an apartment with the yellow tape up. Someone got shot out there. And I rented it with the yellow tape up. Yeah. Not inside, but right out on the right outside on the step.
Okay, so we have a question. Yeah. We have a question from someone. My lovely husband is my question asker.
So we have a question from Mo Kelman, and she says, "Will a timeshare hurt my process if I'm trying to get rid of it all together?"
You heard that? Will the timeshare hurt her process in purchasing a home?
So that monthly payment will be calculated into the debt ratio. So if you qualify with that monthly payment, then all is well. As far as getting rid of it, I mean, that's up to you. If you don't qualify, then sure, get rid of it so you can qualify. But usually the payments are low, 150 to 300, I've seen. But they do show up on credit.
Okay. How much is I have a question, and these are the questions that I have is for people that inbox me, and then we'll go back and forth with people that just come along. How much is a good amount to put down?
Well, most people take advantage of the 3 or the 3.5% down program. And why not? If you're borrowing money at 3%, why not finance and keep additional money in the bank? Or just take advantage of the fact that, you know, you can buy a house now, right now, with 3% down, and you don't need any other monies, you know? I mean, you technically need money for closing costs, but, you know, you don't need 20% or 10%.
So with the closing costs, how much should they save?
Well, this is a real, this is an obstacle for a lot of people because, you know, when I say, hey, your down payment is 3.5%, which comes out to 8,600, and they're like, great, I have $8,000, I'm great. And I'm like, well, closing costs generally range between $8,000 and $10,000. And they're like, oh. So, you know, the short story is that there are ways around that. Like we did for you, we financed them into your purchase price. So you raise the price, cover the closing costs. But unfortunately, in the market we're in now, this is becoming more difficult because it puts your offer at a disadvantage. And other offers will be accepted that don't have the built-in credit from the seller. So I often just tell people, do what you can, get out there, make some offers. If you get discouraged, you have access to a 401k, gift money from family, you know, start saving a paycheck a month. And typically people take the advice and they come up with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I say, don't get discouraged if you don't have 20,000 also. If you have at least the 8 or, 8 to 10, save that. And we're out there and put in offers, and put the offer in and then try to build the closing costs in after we get accepted. After we accept it.
Good
Right.
tactic. I like it.
Because if you try to build it in front, they will try to take that without closing costs because this market is different, right? It's a little competitive.
Right.
All right. So we have another question out there.
So we have another question. The question is, what's the difference between paying a 15-year mortgage versus a 30-year mortgage?
So a lot of people really want to take advantage of paying a mortgage that will end in 15 years so that their house is paid off. But 80% of the time, because that 15-year payment is so much higher, that person doesn't qualify. So you're talking, you're going from a $2,000 payment to a $2,800 payment. And then you lock yourself into something that ties up your monthly cash, when all you need to do is take out this 30-year and just pay it more aggressively when you have the money. So free up your cash flow is my biggest suggestion. Don't lock yourself into a shorter term just because you want to pay off your house. Besides that, your house interest is a write-off, right? So at the end of the year, you get that 1098 form that says you paid $15,000 in interest. That comes right off of your gross income. So, pay that mortgage for 20, 30 years.
So with what you just said, should people that actually have a home, should they pay more with their mortgage payment so that later, when the year comes, it'll be beneficial to them?
So on a 30-year mortgage, most of the interest in the loan is paid in the first 10 years. So if you're able to put a few $100s a month, they say one full mortgage payment a year, whatever it is, you're going to significantly cut down the interest that you pay over the life of the loan because you're putting it up front toward the principal. So you could cut between 3 and 7 years off of your loan with extra payments.
Wow. What is a good credit score?
So, it's a good question. Good credit score, I like a 680 or higher. But we lend down to a 580. But still that 640 is sort of where you need to be to have no problems, to make it a smooth process. But no, I just got an approval on a 598 credit score because all the other pieces were in place. The income was good. The down payment was there. They didn't need any gift funds. They just had a blip with a car loan a few years back, and we figured it out.
Wow. That's great.
It's pretty crazy, right?
Yes. They must have put down a real chunk of money.
No, 3.5%.
Wow.
And that's where, these programs are wonderful. That's why I say that's your free money. You're putting down 3.5% when you probably missed, 8 payments in the last 3 years. It's like, that's a risky loan for a lender,
Yeah. What's the difference between the FHA and the conventional?
Yep. Good question. There's a lot of answers to that. FHA, you can have a lower score. Conventional, you need the higher score. Both allow for low down payment. But the biggest one that we come across is, well, I should say two things. FHA gives you a more buying power. So you're going to qualify for 280, making this number up, for FHA, whereas with conventional, you may only qualify for 250 or 240. And then lastly is the PMI. So that monthly amount, that PMI that you pay because you didn't put 20% down, it's there forever until you get out of that mortgage. But with conventional, once you have 20%, it goes away. People make a little bit bigger deal out of that than they need to, because most people don't keep their mortgages for, over 5 years. They're either moving, refinancing. So I wouldn't let the PMI discourage you.
Okay, we have another question on the live.
Okay, so we have another question. It says, with the high credit score, can debt to income ratio still hinder the process?
There's 3 factors and they're all not related, right? So you need the credit score. If you have a 510 credit score and you have $1 million in the bank and a great job, you're not getting a mortgage. And people are baffled by this, right? So credit score is separate from that. Income, if you have too much debt, you may have a ton of income, but if you have too much debt, you're not going to qualify. And also, if you have no money, that's separate from qualifying your income, and that's separate from your credit. So you need these 3 pieces to balance out to get you qualified for, and how much you earn versus your debt is going to tell you how much house you can buy. Did that answer the question?
I hope so. If not, we can go back. I'm trying to get Sharina up here because I have a realtor's question. I think we asked this: how much should one save for a down payment? We asked
kind of
that.
addressed it. I think 8,000 is a good number if you're a mid-range home buyer, between 175 and 280.
That person, that question was answered in full. I have a question.
Oh, Maurice has a question. Okay.
So we know some people usually go the route of income properties. Now for us, we chose that we didn't want to do that, even though Darrell was pushing us to do it, and we didn't listen. We wanted to go this way, so we use our FHA loan for this. So now once we want to get a second property, we can't do the FHA loan, so we have to do a conventional loan. So now, does that mean we have to put a bigger chunk of money down to get a second property if we wanted to?
Well, so you're talking about 2 different things. Are we talking about occupancy or just number of units that you're buying? So for instance, are you looking for an income property that you're not going to live in, or are you looking for an income property that you are going to live in?
Not living. So basically income.
So you wouldn't use an FHA loan for a home that you're not going to live in. It's primary residence only. So oftentimes what people will do is buy a house, live there for 12 or more months, and then move out and buy another property with a low down payment program. And they'll do that as a primary residence. But whenever you buy a property straight out as an investment property, you need a large down payment, between 15 and 25%.
Okay.
So that's a good question, Reese, because I had a question too. So why do certain realtors push you to buy a rental property first and then your single home? Is there a difference? Should you?
Yes, there is. And 2 reasons. One, you're a first time buyer. you're just getting off your feet. Why not have the help of the rental from another unit helping you make your mortgage payment, right? So you could even completely wipe out your mortgage payment if you get $1,700 of rental income and your mortgage payment's only $1,700. So there's the benefit there, but also once you live in that multifamily and you want to keep it and buy a single, you can then go ahead and buy a single with low money down. It's a natural progression, right? Whereas if you own a single family and then try to buy a primary residence that is a multifamily, that's not allowable because it's not a natural progression, right? People start off with multis and move into single families later. So it sort of hinders your buying power, your down payment options, if you don't do it the way that was suggested.
So can you could buy a house and you could buy 2 houses in a year? Within a year, is there a time period?
No, it's 12. You have to wait 12 months for
Oh.
primary residence. But if you're going to buy your house as a primary and then want to buy an investment, there's no waiting period.
Oh, okay. But you gotta have that money.
You got to have that money. And you probably spent it on a new couch and some other things.
Right.
So typically, to piggyback off of her question, so you got to have that money because you're not getting the FHA, you're not getting the 3.5%, the 3%.
Right.
So typically, what percentage you would usually have to have to basically, if you already have, like say for instance, in our case, we brought our 1-family home, we use FHA, so now we can't use it because it wouldn't be, first time. So now the next time we go around, it would be conventional, correct?
Right, it'd be conventional and it would be an investment. So conventional investment loans are always conventional and they're always a larger down payment. Again, between 15 and 20. Oh, actually, I shouldn't say that. Between 20 and 25%.
Lord, that's a lot.
Yeah, now here's the thing. This is something that catches people up a bit. It can't come from gift money. It has to be all of your own funds.
Wow.
So you're like, well, mom and dad are going to give me this money. I even had one where it was an inheritance and we couldn't prove there was actually an inheritance. It was just like mom and dad said, hey, this is from your future inheritance. They couldn't use that money to purchase the investment property.
Wow.
So, and this, because these are riskier loans, right? Which house are you going to let go to foreclosure first? The one you reside in or the one that you don't reside in? So there's the need for the larger down payment and the higher interest rate. So that's the explanation.
Yeah. Man, we should have got a rental property first.
Yeah, so now
I don't know though. I don't know.
well, it kind of go with the question that I just asked you. So say for instance, now we want to get another. I think I already answered it because basically you living in one, you can't live in 2 houses. So either way.
I could live here and you could live there.
Now that has happened before.
Why not? I mean, we married. As long as it's occupied, Dink could live there. We could have Dink live here.
Wait,
The 12-year-old.
So it wouldn't be an investment property. You have to come up with a larger down payment, but just not between 20 and 25%.
Right.
Okay.
Sharina, you here? I can't hear you. Any more questions?
No more questions.
Okay.
Yet.
I wanted to just touch on buying a house for everyone listening who's a first-time buyer or wants to be a first-time buyer. Buying a house is a privilege, right? And it's a giant purchase. You'll never have a bigger purchase than your home. And so preparation is everything. It's never too soon to prepare. It's a 20-minute, 30-minute process to figure out where do I stand and where do I want to be in 6 months or a year or what obstacles are in my way and what do I need to do to reach my goal. And so, you know, people wait and they're on Zillow. I see this house, call the realtor that's on the listing, and they go see it and they love it. And now we are doing a pre-approval after the fact, and they are nowhere near qualifying. So their dreams are shattered because they weren't prepared. And so I like to help people get prepared, you know.
Yeah.
Same as Sharina, you know, she's good at really directing people, like, you know, you need to have these things in place before we move forward. So,
And it's so important, right? Because you don't want to buy a house and then be stuck. You know, you don't want to buy a house and then you don't know how to keep it. You don't know how you're going to pay your mortgage. So if you're preparing and, you know, with the down payment, I think what I was, you know, like I said, I was just focused on that free money. But the reason why I was so focused on that was because I was thinking later on down the road, God forbid, what if something happened and we gotta pay for it? Because now we're home buyers. We're not calling up a landlord saying, hey, you know, I got a leak. I gotta fix that now. So I wanted money stashed,
right.
that we was actually saving for. That could be our stash money for if something was to happen. So, I mean, for us, we we were blessed and we didn't have to spend all of our down payment money. Because honestly, that happened. You know, we came in the house and there was a leak.
Yep, exactly.
And, you know, we was freaking out. But I mean, you know, and it wasn't that expensive, but still, it could have been.
You know, I get a lot of phone calls for, hey, I want to qualify for that no money down program. And there is one, but when I look at the picture of this buyer and all the aspects that go into their profile and owning a home, I think, and I ask the question, you may want this program because you don't need any money, but how will you pay for the roof when it's gone in 5 years and you need a brand new one, or a furnace, or, you know, just simple stuff, lawn care. I mean, there's so much that goes into owning a home. And so I try to discourage people from buying at that point when they have nothing, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't think home ownership is for people who can't sustain the ownership down the road.
Right. That's good, Janine, because that, you know, even when I think about, you know, because a lot of people look at your life or look at your house or look at your marriage and like, oh, I want that. I want that. But we know God. Everybody on this earth ain't called to be married. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And fortunately, everybody not on this earth to be a home buyer. Because you may not have the tools and the mindset, and the attitude that comes with it, because anything can break. Like,
there's nothing wrong with renting. You know, I mean, I lived in a beautiful rent for 9 years and I enjoyed it, and I could have gotten a mortgage. But you know what? I didn't want the responsibility. I didn't have someone that could help me fix things or paint or, you know, mow the lawn. So, and I wasn't going to do that. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with renting. And then there's the people who can't manage their current debt. You know, you paid your car payment late twice this year. You can't make your Capital One payments on time. You just simply shouldn't be buying a house. If you can't, if you miss a $20 payment several times, then I feel responsible for putting you in something that is going to put you completely under, you know.
mm-hmm. Sharina, I have a few questions for you, ma'am. Okay.
Try the phone.
We still can't hear you, boo.
We have a question.
We have another question.
Someone wants to know, they're ready to start the process. When can they call?
Oh, someone ready to start the process.
Sharina's like, yeah, so you can call anytime. I don't know if you share my contact information, Talisa, but
Comics.
I have a website that's the easiest which is Mortgages by Janine. So Mortgages with an S by Jeneen, and everything's on that website, even the application.
Yes, and we have a realtor. She's having technical difficulties. SB Realty. I can't even talk.
The Realty Group.
You got the shirt on. We're gonna put their information in the comments.
There you
So
go.
I'm excited that someone's ready. That's dope.
We have not another question, but we have a comment.
We have a
Actually,
comment.
2 comments.
Okay, what's the first comment, sir?
So the first comment, the person said, I don't have any questions, but I thank you ladies for such an insightful and meaningful discussion.
You're welcome.
And comment was, rent is more than mortgage and insurance in some cases. I'm over it. We'll be reaching out sooner than later. Thank you, Jesus first. Thank you, ladies, as well. I'm excited.
Yay, and we're excited for you.
Too good.
Oh, okay. So how do you know when you have a good realtor or lender or broker? What should you look for? What should people look for when shopping for the help?
Communication, it's number one, right? You are blind. You're walking into something massive. You have no idea what's going on. You don't know what the terminology is. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. And like, you can't feel nervous about reaching out to get your questions answered. You know, unfortunately, I answer my phone all the time and text all hours of the day. But I love that because I love to be able to put someone at ease when something pops up in their head at 8 o'clock at night, like, you know, so communication's number one. Reputation, you know, you can easily Google the company and the realtor or loan officer. Those are important. Reviews. And then lastly, you know, make sure that everything's disclosed to you, like in writing. You know, what are we getting? Well, you don't want someone that's just like, oh, we'll get you this, don't worry about it, you'll be all set. You know, I send out a worksheet. This is what you know you're looking at, and this probably won't change much, you know. So knowing the numbers and having clarity. So shut down the other one, Serena. Or mute the other one.
Hi.
Yeah.
I had to pull on my laptop.
So that was an echo.
I thought, let me leave from my phone.
Or you can mute it or turn it down.
So that was an echo. From my phone.
Or you can mute it or turn it down.
Hi. Oh, geez.
Welcome back.
Let me make sure I'm on my internet. We good?
Yes, welcome.
Okay, sorry guys. Oh my gosh.
It's so good to have you back, ma'am.
It's been a while.
Trial and error, you know, charge it. Well, I always get it mixed up, but charge it to our minds, not our heart. You know, that's what the church say. But I was asking Janine about, you know, how do you know when you have a good realtor or mortgage lender? What should you look for? So what should people look for a realtor?
So I heard her. So Janine's response was actually great, but I also love word of mouth. Word of mouth, but not just because I find that a lot of people refer people that they just like because they're popular. Don't go with the popular crew. Go with people who actually used people, you know, who's actually used people, because I know a lot of attorneys. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so reviews, yes. Reviews, like Janine said, reviews. I push for reviews, especially if you work with me, give me a review. look up the reviews, and word of mouth is excellent from people who actually closed with you. If you've closed, if they've closed with a person, those reviews are top priority. Follow those people, and other lenders, other realtors referring other lenders, and lenders referring other realtors. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you guys know, I'm not going to say any, but we were working with someone and I was being extremely cheap, and we got what we paid for at the end of the day. And Sharina couldn't even bid. She wasn't even there for my big day. Janine was here for my big day.
I stress that with people, a lot of people, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
With an attorney, with an inspector, you get what you pay for. So sometimes, you know, the cost may be cheaper, but they're cutting back in some other experiences.
Yes. You frozen, mama.
The cost is well. We couldn't find that woman. We couldn't find her.
That was we're not even gonna go there. We blessed and highly favored. So, but we all know what it was. I think we have another question.
Yes, someone said they're ready to start the process, but will inquiries for a home hurt my credit score?
That's a good question. Will inquiries hurt their credit score?
I love to answer this question. I answer it all day. There's a myth flying around that your credit score drops when you pull credit. So I love this house. I want to go see it. My realtor says I need a pre-approval. Are you going to do a hard inquiry on my credit? We sure are, because if you want to buy a house, we need to know what your credit looks like. But it's not going to affect your credit score. I mean, the FICO score that lenders use, it may change 0 points, 1 point, 2 points. And there's reasons for that. But just know you can, once you have one mortgage inquiry, you can shop for 30 days. It could even be 45 now, without it affecting your score at all. So if you are going to shop, it's okay to have your credit pulled by a few mortgage lenders.
All right.
Serena, anything you want to add to that?
No, that I love. Oh, yes. I cannot take you out to see homes without a pre-approval. That's number one. A lot of homeowners do not want people in their homes unless you are pre-approved. We need that pre-approval because we do not want to go see $400,000, $500,000 homes if we're only approved for $100,000.
Hello.
So
a lot of time for people.
Yeah, we want to be intentional, okay,
right,
with our shopping, and we can look at homes on online, but we can't go out unless we are officially approved, because we want to be prepared. And if we see that home that we like, we want to be able to pull the trigger and go get it. This is a very hot market. Homes do not last. They're not going to wait. A lot of people have asked, okay, I want to move in November. Can I start now? No, that house is not going to wait for you. Mm-hmm. So it's best to get the pre-approval. And if you're ready to move now, let's go now. And you don't need to see houses for 6 to 8 months. There is a very strong chance that if we go out this weekend, that home that's for you can be available, can be there this weekend. You don't have to see 10 houses. That first house can be your house. I've done it. We've done it before. So it's not rushing. Your house is your house.
And the time is your time.
Exactly. I've seen people miss their time.
Yeah.
Thinking that they have to see more. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So during inspection, what exactly do they inspect and how thorough are they? A person asked this because they had a bad experience when I guess that their inspector didn't inspect the chimney, and they had to pay a whole bunch of money when they moved in because the chimney was some type of carbon monoxide or whatever. So she asked, how thorough are they from your?
So it depends on the inspector you choose. You know, so you have to choose. I like my inspector because I trust him. Hey, Maurice?
I didn't say anything.
Okay.
I'm thinking it. I'm thinking it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Know.
Don't do that to me.
Yeah, I know what I had to go through. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, I was dealing with him for a few hours. I lived with him.
I was like,
You wasn't there. Oh. What he put me through with that, okay, it was sweatpants. But anyway, okay. Okay. But yeah, so I've had quite a few inspectors, and some inspectors can miss out on a lot of things. You have some inspectors that will tear the whole house apart, and that will scare you. And you have some inspectors that can miss some things. And so again, when you want to save money and you want to cut costs, because there's also costs associated with it. You have some inspectors that will charge you up to $1,200, and you have some inspectors that'll cost you as low as $4, or $3. So you want to be very, very careful with who you choose, and you can, depending on who your realtor is and their experience, and reviews, again, you can research reviews, but can an inspector miss something? That's possible, because no one's perfect. They can miss something. It's not like they're going to tear the whole, no one's that thorough. People can miss something. Even on their best day, they can miss something. But
it's always better to have one than,
yes, yes, I agree.
Anything you're going to catch the majority of issues. They may miss one or two. It's happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes.
But you don't really know, like, even when we brought our house, like when we had the leak, we had no idea that was even there. They're not busting up the walls. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes when you're gonna experience things and you're gonna find things while you're living in the house.
Yes.
Things are not visible to you. You're not gonna be able to see that. We didn't see any, marks on the ceiling when we moved in and when we, closed. But that came later. I mean, next day. But
yeah. I missed a septic test before, because I just didn't have a septic person come and check it. That was my mistake as a realtor. So I just paid for a clean out on my own. I took that cost. I ate it. So, sometimes you miss things, sometimes you don't, but you just own it, for the client.
Can you be married and purchase a home without your spouse?
So the answer is yes, assuming you have all three of those pieces to qualify you, right? As your situation proved that you needed your husband's income to get the amount of house that you wanted. Similar, do you have an income? Do you have the credit score? And can you get the down payment? If all comes together, you absolutely can. And then your spouse can go buy a house. I mean, there's some ways that can be done.
I like that idea. About to put Dick name on our son. We have a question online.
We have two, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Someone says, should one pull from a 401k or an IRA to purchase or help process, is that a good idea?
To pull for a 401k or IRA to help the process.
I think it's phenomenal. I mean, what's better than borrowing from yourself for a down payment? I mean, it's a short-term loan that comes back out of your paycheck, but why wouldn't you? It's going to be back there eventually, so you just have to accept the lower net income that you'll have. As long as you can survive on that income, then why not?
The other question was, is it wise to refinance out of a FHA loan if you don't plan on using FHA again?
I can't hear you.
Is it wise?
Is it wise to refinance out of an FHA loan even if you don't plan on using FHA again?
It's wise to get out of the PMI if you have 20% equity. So I'll look at situations where they want to get out of the PMI, but they're still going to need a lower amount of PMI.
Can you I'm sorry, can you just say what PMI is for people that may?
So when a person buys a home and does not have 20% down, which is a lot of buyers, there's a monthly amount that goes to the lender in case of a default, right? So they have this pool of money that protects the lender. So PMI usually it's not a big number, it could be between $90 to $250 a month, depending on the price of the house. And so people are like, well, I don't want to pay that forever, which they will in an FHA loan. So if you believe you have enough equity now to not have PMI at all because you have 20% equity, it's a great idea. And it might still be a great idea for other reasons, because if we're at the top of the market right now and you can get even like 10% equity, 15% equity, take advantage, because in 2 years this bubble may be gone and you won't have equity anymore. And rates are at an all-time low. So now you're in a conventional loan, you have PMI, but that PMI will fall off. It'll eventually go away.
Question is, when refinancing, how much should one expect to pay out of pocket?
Most people just pay for the appraisal fee, and the rest of the costs get rolled into the new loan. And those costs can be anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000, which are not all costs. A lot of that is our tax escrows and insurance escrows.
I didn't know that. That's good to know that so you're reappraised when you go for refinance. So
unless in some cases you can get a waiver where the system recognizes the area values and it says, yeah, you put 300 in here and the area value supports 300. We don't need an appraisal. So that happens a lot lately.
How soon can you refinance?
8 to 12 months.
Okay.
Her wheels are spinning.
Mine too. Okay. Does taking home buyer classes really help with grants?
Sharina, you have to answer that one because I don't handle grants.
I think it depends. I hate to really answer this honestly, because I have no filter sometimes, but I want to answer. Some of these programs, some of these people shouldn't have programs, shouldn't be in charge of some of these programs. But I'll tell you that CHAFA and the town programs, yes, they are required. Yes. But some of the smaller programs, the people that are in control of them, I don't think they're fair in how they handle them. And yes, they are required. Yes.
So
And
And
not all first-time buyer programs require,
Yeah.
you know, of course, I have people that call and say, hey, I'm going next week to sit in this seminar for first-time buyers, which is wonderful. If you just want to get knowledgeable, that's great, but it's
Yeah.
not required. And there's a lot easier ways. There's online courses that take an hour to 2 hours, and you get a
Yeah.
plethora of information.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Like,
was back off of that. We took a home buyer class, and it goes back to your point, Janine, when you said being prepared. It prepared us because I had coming into this process, I had no idea. I think Reese had more knowledge than me because he just, you know, he was on it. He wanted a house.
yeah, he did.
I just was like, oh, okay, whatever. I had no idea about the loans, the FHA, the conventional, the down payment, the all. I didn't know. So I highly recommend you guys out there listening, you know, to try to get some type of information, whether it be online, whether it be a program. Really, you know, educate yourself because you want to know.
Mhm.
No, you really want to know. And this is what we're here for too, to just, you know, spark that interest. You have a question?
I do. So this one is for Janine. So Janine, I guess with the times, you know, and the interest rates and the market, a lot of people are refinancing their house. And for instance, someone had a 30-year mortgage and they were there for maybe 3 or 4 years. And I guess because the market might have changed, so now their, I guess, value is more. So now they refinanced it and they went down to a 15-year mortgage. And a couple of people I know, their mortgage was cheaper than it was when it was a 30-year mortgage. My question to you about that is, for instance, say if someone, since this is a time for all-time lows for interest rate, say next year someone can refinance and the interest rates are higher now. Is it smart for them to still refinance to get to a 15-year mortgage, or it wouldn't be because they'll shoot their interest rate up?
So the 15-year rate right now is the lowest I've ever seen it. But that doesn't mean it's right for you, because you have to look at what that payment is going to be. You're shortening your term 15 years. If you've only paid the first 3 years, that's mostly interest, and your payment will be higher. I don't care what rate you're at now. Your payment will be higher in a 15-year. If you've paid half of your loan down, or 10 years, if you've paid 10 years of your loan down, there is a possibility your payment won't be much higher if you go to a 15-year. I think it's a case by case picture. You know, do you like that payment? Can you afford the payment? And then, are you going to stay in the house? You should never refinance if you're not going to be in the house at least 3 years, at least a bare minimum. If you aren't sure, then, and you may move, then don't waste your time or money.
Okay. Is going through a broker a better choice than going straight to a bank?
Well,
Yes.
Well, listen, that's hard because I have some friends that might be watching.
I'll say yes.
I work for a lender. I don't work for a bank.
Lender. Yes.
I don't work for Chase or Wells Fargo or Bank of America for a reason.
Yes.
Until Lisa touched on some of the negatives.
Yes.
And I think you did too, Sharina.
Yes.
And I don't work for a broker for a bunch of reasons.
Yes.
You go directly to the people that are giving you the money.
Yes, the lender.
Those who have the flexibility and
Yes.
wiggle room. Big banks don't have flexibility. That's why, sorry, Wells Fargo, but you'll be sitting in underwriting for 3 weeks and nobody knows what's going on with your loan.
Yes.
We can move on a dime. You know, I pick up the phone, we have an issue, pick up the other phone. Okay, it's all set. So
yes,
I think stick with your lenders, your reputable lenders.
Yes. Yes.
I highly agree.
Yes.
Because I was like like I said earlier, we was working with banks, and I was waiting to hear from people. I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, don't you want my money?
Yeah,
Like,
for
what you want?
pre-approval. Yeah. Yeah. Weeks for pre-approval.
Yeah,
Now imagine if you were in the deal.
I have a poor friend that today, she's buying in a different state, and she went to the credit union where she works. I had her pre-approved in Connecticut, right? No problem.
Mhm.
She's your typical USDA FHA buyer. The credit union saw one collection, which happened to be settled, it just was still on her credit. And they're like, we don't think we can lend to you.
Oh,
We don't really like, we just don't like this.
oof.
Like,
And she
we
worked
just-
there.
Yeah, she was very strange. And so things like that, you know, it's very cut and dry
Mhm.
with, you know, your typical lenders.
Mhm.
It's the banks and the credit unions that
Mhm.
they kind of muck things up a bit with
Mhm.
their guys.
Mhm. 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 Yes, a lot.
your question?
I have a question. Someone wants to know the difference between a broker and a lender.
Think of a broker as the middleman.
Mhm.
So I work in an office space with my own entity, my own title, my own LLC, but I have to go to different banks
Mhm.
or different wholesalers to get the money.
Mhm.
So if I submit you to one wholesaler and they don't like it, I have to take that out and put it in another wholesaler and take that out. And in some cases, you need a whole new appraisal for each try
Mhm.
because they're their own, the wholesalers are
Mhm.
their own entity. So
Mhm.
when you're with a lender, we actually lend our own money. We underwrite for VA, for
Mhm.
FHA, you know, we underwrite for Jaffa. I mean,
Mhm.
it's all right there in-house, and you need one appraisal and, you know, you have one underwriter.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
it's the better way.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Are you biased because you are a lender?
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is why I was a broker,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So I've been there.
Where do you go to find grants for home buyers? Different websites.
Where
Each-
do they offer them? I don't know.
So it's not necessarily a website, but each town has it. Each
Okay.
town, town hall, or they have their own, or 211. But I don't know if Janine's company is the same, but a lot of lenders I'm finding you have to make sure that they work together. If
That's true.
they're an approved vendor with that lender. Yeah.
Because essentially, if you're buying a house with no money down, because you're getting the first mortgage through the lender and then you're getting the grant for the down payment, the lender has to be okay with that risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's why there are approved lenders.
Yeah.
And also just regular FHA loans. FHA has its own, it only allows certain grants.
Yeah. And some of them are liens.
Yes, that's
you
one of
wanna
the
make
major
sure.
problems.
Yeah.
How many years of work history you need to get approved for a mortgage?
There's a lot of answers to that. You know, if you're self-employed, you need 2 years of filed tax returns that show income. If you are a salaried employee, but before that you worked, you know, 32, 34 hours a week at a different job, as long as you have a 2-year history of employment, that's fine. If there's a gap in employment, that's another issue. You're out of work for over 6 months, or you were late, you know, you were in a different industry, you were self-employed, and then you went to a full-time job. There's guidelines there that differ, but the easy answer is a 2-year history of work at minimum.
Is there like certain jobs? Like, can you buy a house with Uber Eats or like Ubering?
So that's self-employment.
Okay.
And unfortunately, most of the Uber drivers I've looked at, they write off most of the profit. So, because there's a lot of expenses. And so that might be like part-time income that we can add to their full-time income.
A question?
Can you get a loan if you're retired? And if so, what's required?
Good question.
Social Security is usable income, pension is usable income, dividends and payouts from annuities. So a lot of people buy on their fixed income. It's just a matter of how much will you qualify for. If you're only getting $550 a month for Social Security, then no, you're not buying a house. And then if you're on disability, that has to be permanent. If you're on permanent disability, we can use that. Again, is it enough income to buy a house? So that's an individual question.
How many parties are involved buying a house besides the seller and the buyer? Just name the people that we will need or someone will need.
It's a village, right, Sharina?
Yeah, yes. Your whole team, your lender, your realtor, your attorney, your inspector, appraiser that you may or may not meet, but he's a part of your team, and you're paying him. Yeah, we're all one big happy family, and we're married.
So Sharina, you have your own personal business. You have all those people in your camp?
I do, and except for so the lender is the one who hires the appraiser, but I refer my attorneys and lenders and inspector, because I vetted them and I trust them, because any wrong person can change the whole can change the whole journey, and it can change for the worse. Like, I've seen it, and it's scary. So you have to be able to pull a deal. If you see it going in the wrong direction, you got to be able to pull it before it gets too far out of control. Some people come in with their own team. You were lucky enough to come in with the right person. Other people don't come in with the right people. So, unfortunately, I see it. And when people, feel that they have it together and they want to choose their people, I advise them on who they should choose, but it's your decision. Then when you see it's wrong, when they feel that, okay, this is not going the way I expect it to go, then I step in. Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. But in this one I am in now, it got too far out of hand. But I tell you, God gave us grace and in favor. So I was able to try to pull someone else in at the last minute. And sometimes the seller side is not always working with us, but we're all working together, because the bank that they came with was just the absolute worst. The worst. But we're a month past closing. But we still have a chance. Anyone else would have kicked us out, because now we're in a completely different market, and I know they can get more money for that place.
Yep.
Yeah, so, but it worked out.
So what market are we?
We're in spring now. No, it's sellers. But we're in spring. So, but we're in April now. And so the beginning of March, it was a little different, prices are up now, and as we get into summer, they'll be up a little more, Yeah.
So what's the best time to buy a house? In a seller's market?
Well, it's been a seller's market for a while. You even bought in a seller's market, but you bought in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
So the fall is a little, it's better. Like when the snow was still on the ground, that was a good time to buy. When the snow melted, that's when the gates were open. Everybody came outside. They're
Well,
outside.
I feel like COVID played a big role in.
Oh, yes.
I mean, people. This is my take. As soon as COVID hit, everyone was in the industry, the realtors. We thought we weren't going to have jobs, right? Because
Yes.
they're not going to let realtors into homes, and lending is going to come to a halt because of unemployment. And so a month went by where it was super quiet. And then people are sitting at home, looking at their husband, looking at the four walls, like Zillow, and I want to buy a house.
Yeah.
And this is like, I think people just came out of the woodwork.
Oh my gosh.
Insane.
May
People are
22nd, right? Yeah. Yeah, it was like May 22nd or something like that. Yep, as soon as the doors open. Oh my gosh.
God.
Yeah, that have to be scary because you guys, working for self, and then a global pandemic hit and you're like, okay, what's going to happen now? Like,
Oh, but when it hit, it hit because I tell you, I don't know how I made it through, because I think I just rolled out of bed, rolled in the shower, and rolled in these streets. I don't know how I did it. And rolled in people's houses and rolled out and rolled up some contracts because it was so busy, so busy, so busy. And when I tell you, I look back at my numbers, I was like, oh my gosh, because it was like, you just kept going, kept going, kept going. And I didn't realize it. And even now, we're still seeing that activity, and you don't know when it's going to end. So like, I dedicated my life to this, and I tell my agents, my life is a little different from yours because like, I don't really have any distractions. I have my daughter, she's 16, but I'm single, and I don't have like friends like that. I don't, this is what I do all day, every day. So my downtime is quiet, just me, so I regroup and then I'm back out there. But I kind of wouldn't change it. I actually love what I do. So, but it gets crazy. And this is only April. Summer hasn't even hit yet. And we've already, these are summer numbers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope I get
Janine's like, I'm like 24 days. I think I sent Janine like 5, and I have to remember that I am not the only realtor that's sending people. So I looked at, I'm sending Janine like, I think I sent her like probably 4 to 5 numbers. She's like, I'm like 24 hours.
I'm on 24-hour turn time on.
Yeah, but she was sending me responses like right back to back. Well, I got back to this person and got back to that person. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Well, I'm multitasking. I'm typing to this one. I'm like this.
But I love it because you communicate so well, and she's so honest and in her truth, and I respect it and I appreciate it, because that's all I need. You just tell me what works for you and it works for me. That's it, because we all need our time and we have lives and we have other people and other business and other things that we have to do. That's it. So
and you get it too. You get it when there's a situation, you're like even keel. You have it together. You know who you need to be in contact with, or when you need to stay out of it.
Yes.
Good synergy for sure.
Yes. And I don't want to stop.
It's almost dinner time.
Yeah.
Oh, so those we don't have any more questions, right, babe? No. Okay. So would you like to close with anything? Any advice? Anything? God save, whatever.
I'll say that if homeownership is something that you want, once you believe that you can achieve this goal, your actions have to line up with that, that thought. and you can accomplish it. You can accomplish anything that you want. Write it down and take action steps towards it. Don't allow anyone or anything to get in the way of that, and act on it. So many people doubt themselves. Just don't put any doubt in it. Just do it. That's it. Write the vision and make it plain. That's it.
Plan, prepare.
That's right.
You can never be too prepared. So
that's right. And no cars.
The car, I get, listen, if you're making $14 an hour, your car payment should not be $700. Okay. That's a housing payment.
Yes. No.
To you, raw. We have one last question. That's it. Reese?
Someone wants to know, are they too late for a good rate?
Historic lows. That's all you need to know.
That's right.
8.75 was the first 30-year fixed rate I closed in 1990 something.
No.
Okay, so
yes,
3% is like is heaven. You can't. Where else can you borrow money at that low of a rate? So no.
I know a friend with a 9 right now. He has a 9. Yeah.
Tell him to call me.
Yes, I am. Yes.
But no, there was a blip of time where we were just slightly under 3.
Yeah.
So you didn't miss anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, this is it. I mean, we were up here for a while. I've been posting.
This was good.
It was, right?
Yeah, this is my first time too.
You did great. My goodness.
Thank you. You guys helped, made it easy.
Guys on again. Maybe we won't talk house talk, but maybe we'll talk God talk.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, I'm with it.
Because you guys about to be my dynamic duo. I'm telling you guys, I recommend you to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just had such a great experience. And, you want to hear that. You don't want to keep that to yourself. And
yes.
That's why it's so important to do the and to share your experience, because people need to know.
Yes, I agree.
So I just thank you all. I thank you for coming on, for taking time out of your schedule, because I know you two ladies are so busy.
I thank you.
It's just an honor to be in your presence and for you to bless my podcast. I've been doing this for almost June will be a year. Sometimes it's discouraged because you're not getting like the feedback, you're not getting the numbers, and I just can't be distracted with that. I just have to continue to do. This is something that I like to do. This is something I like to talk. This is something that, even I feel like God can even use me on this in some way, somehow. So,
absolutely.
He has. Because your post, you brought a lot of people into my life. From just that closing, there's so many people that came over just from you. Goodness. So I thank you for that. So even though somehow they're watching, even after you log out,
right?
They're watching because it still stays on, right? They can still see it after. So maybe they're not logging on while you're live, but they're seeing it. Yeah.
So, so again, thank you for coming on. I'm definitely gonna invite you all again.
Yes.
This was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. I
did.
I thank you for your knowledge, your wisdom, just being a professional in this business. You get a lot of horror stories. And I'm just so blessed that I wasn't a part of that. And I want others to experience that as well, because this is the biggest purchase that you're gonna buy, and you want the process to be smooth. It may not always be that way, but you're going in with an attitude and a positive mindset. So
yes, I'm glad you said that, because you said something earlier. You asked, how do you know that you're going to get a good realtor? Also, don't go in it thinking negative. Go in it with a positive mindset as well, because some people have said some crazy things to me don't go in it thinking negatively. Go in it thinking positively. And you will possibly get a positive outcome.
Yes, and I just want to piggyback on what you said earlier, Serena, about the word of mouth.
Mhm.
A lot of times, especially with, I guess maybe our day and age, a lot of stuff is word of mouth. And
Mhm.
a lot of times it's better than your commercials or whatever else.
Mhm.
Because I honestly, that's how I found you. I would see you around and stuff, but
Mhm.
the type of person I am, if I see someone, I want to talk to someone that experienced you personally.
Yes.
So I can know the things you went through, the things you liked, the things that you didn't like.
Yes.
I can weigh my options. So
Mhm.
when I found her, I reached out to someone I knew that she dealt with, actually a couple people, and everybody said the same thing. Boom, boom, boom. I reached out to her, and we are today.
It was my fight. I'm a fighter.
Right. Good for you.
A little pit bull.
That's right.
Well, I thank you again. I can't thank you enough. Thank you for everyone that tuned in, everyone that came on, everyone that liked, that shared, even on the podcast, Anchor, Google, Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Outside the box is where you want to tap into. We're talking about all types of stuff, where I'm a Jesus fanatic, and I think because Reese was the one that told me that Janine was a believer, and I went to her page and she said something. I think you said Jesus fanatic, and you said a foot washer. I was like, whoa,
Oh yeah.
Jesus freak. I'm a Bible thumper. That's what I am.
Yes.
yes. And
Old
instantly,
school.
I knew it was something about her. I knew it.
Yeah, it was great. And even, when I seen that, I'm like, man. And then Serena, not to prolong it, even after we found this house or whatever, when we went to go look at the other house, and I was questioning, like, man, I don't know if it's too good to be true. And she was like, no, this is your season. God has you take that win. I'm like, man.
Good stuff.
Yes. So I was excited, and I text Sharina. I was like, "Did you know that she's our sister?" Like,
yes.
I mean, talk about ordained. It's just, this is wild.
Yes. So thank you again. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe this podcast. And this is your girl, and I'm out. So